Now, on your website, you've got Jeremy Moss of the University of New South Wales is listed as the lead researcher for 5 grants worth an accumulated value of over $1.5 million. He's also listed as a researcher on a number of other grants. On the 26th of September 2019, Mr. Moss wrote an article for The Conversation titled, "When it comes to climate change, Australia's mining giants are accessory to crime." As chair, I will table it, and if there's no objections to the committee, it's the will of the committee that this article is tabled.
You really have to.
Thank you. Now, Professor Thomas, are you aware of this article? No. That's okay. Now, in this article, Mr. Moss, or it might be Professor Moss, likened mining companies to murderers and the sale of coal as morally comparable to selling uranium to a failed state or dumping medical waste unsafely. These are quite fiery comments, I suppose. Are you aware of those comments?
No, Senator.
No. It's just like, one of my concerns, we've got someone here who is, effectively funded by grants through the ARC and funded by taxpayers, miners in my home state of Queensland and miners in WA and from New South Wales. I just think, is it appropriate that someone is saying comments like that who's being funded by the ARC?
Senator, I think that's probably more an issue for that person's employer and whether they are comfortable with that. But we've just heard earlier today the whole discussion around academic freedom, so I wouldn't venture into that territory.
Okay. We've also got a Mr. Christian Downey from the Australian National University. He's listed on your website as a lead researcher. He's written an article for the Daily Bulletin, and I'll table this, and it's the will of the committee to accept that.
Selective freedom of speech.
No, freedom of speech is very important.
Let him speak. Freedom of speech.
Politicians, yes, you've had 45 minutes of freedom of speech.
Thank you for that, Chair.
Yes.
Politicians must mind the divide between coal lobbies and energy companies. I mean, I take it you're probably not aware of this article either.
No, Senator.
It's just that I'm concerned on behalf of the good taxpayers of Queensland to make sure that we've got some academics here who like to live on the taxes paid by miners and those associated with the mining industry, but are very happy to also attack that. And I'm just a little bit worried that the ARC, through its grants process, and I accept the changes that the former minister put into place, is we've got some, the resource sector is very important to my home state, and I hope that these academics take that into account. I don't know if it's something Senator O'Sullivan and co would agree with, but the tax...
Absolutely, it's very concerning.
It's very concerning. Minister, would you have any particular views on this?
Well, I think as Professor Thomas said, in terms of the ARC's work, the funding's devolved out to external entities, but certainly these things we do need to be mindful of, and noting Senator Pratt's point around freedom of speech, we need to ensure that people using taxpayers' funds use them judiciously and appropriately.
And not liken mining companies to murderers. But anyway, thank you very much to the ARC for coming along. Consider yourselves relieved.